Guys, when the United States carried out a military operation in Venezuela that culminated in the capture and removal of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife to face the federal charges in New York, spontaneous reactions emerged around the world, including the divided response from the Venezuelans, jubilant celebrations among the many Venezuelan exiles, and the large protests in the cities like the New York, Boston, Chicago, and Washington against what critics call the US imperialism and illegal intervention. Now, some New Yorkers and demonstrators in the US oppose the Trump administration's actions because they view it as an unlawful military raid on a sovereign nation, an overreach of executive power, and a dangerous precedent of regime change without the congressional approval or international mandate. So, guys, protesters gathered outside the federal detention center in Brooklyn, where Maduro is being held, chanting "Hands off Venezuela" and "Free Maduro," arguing that entering another country and arresting its leader violates the international law and norms of sovereignty, and fearing that this could be repeated elsewhere without any legal justification, setting a dangerous precedent for the future. Many in this protest also believe the US motivation is less about the drug charges and more about controlling Venezuela's vast oil resources, citing the slogans like "No War for Oil" and demanding an end to US interference and imperialist policies, with some groups connecting the action to broader critiques of militarism and foreign intervention by the United States. There is also a strong anti war and anti imperialist statement among progressive and left politicians in the US, some of whom frame the capture of Maduro as a part of pattern of historical US interventions, whether in Latin America, the Middle East, or elsewhere, and argue that such actions harm ordinary people both abroad and at home by diverting focus and resources from domestic issues. Within New York's Venezuelan diaspora, opinions are mixed. While some express relief that the Maduro's authoritarian and repressive rule has ended, others voice deep anxiety and mistrust towards the Trump administration, pointing to the history of US intervention and cautioning whether the removal of Maduro under US military pressure will truly lead to positive outcomes. Some Venezuelans in New York and around the US acknowledge the suffering under Maduro's government but still criticize how the operation was carried out, arguing that foreign military action and detainment on US soil is not the right path for democratic transition. Critics also point to broader political concerns in the US, where opposition figures and local leaders, including the mayor of New York and member of Congress, condemned the raid as unconstitutional or unwise, warning that it could destabilize the region further and erode trust in the international norms, even if Maduro's government had been oppressive. This opposition is not just limited to Venezuelans or Americans. Protests against the US action have appeared in other countries as well, with diverse activist groups denouncing what they describe as imperialist aggression and calling attention to the rights of nation to self-determination. At the same time, some groups arguing against Trump's action see it as a part of a wider critique of US foreign policy, including concerns that resources should be directed to domestic needs rather than the foreign wars, and that the intervention historically has led to long term conflict rather than stability. In summary, the protests in New York reflect deep global and domestic divisions over how the US engages with foreign governments. So, guys, while many celebrate the end of Maduro's years of hardship and repression in Venezuela, a significant number of New Yorkers and activists oppose the method, viewing it as a illegal, dangerous, and motivated by the geopolitical and economic interest, which is why they are not supporting the Trump's intervention, even if they oppose Maduro's regime. So, guys, thank you so much for joining in today. What do you think on this New York protest? Should it be a good sign or is the noble cause? What do you think? Let me know in the comments and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and also subscribe to our channel for such amazing daily breakdowns. Thank you.